Hello, during the next 10 minutes we will discuss the most important business events taking place between December 31st and January 6th. You're watching events around the corner on Kazakh TV. Salaries and social benefits will be increased in Kazakhstan starting from January 1st. Armenia will stick to EU common technical regulations on the 2nd. The construction of a nuclear power plant will begin in Egypt on the 4th. Let's discuss this and other news in detail. A temporary permit for production activity in the Kumtor deposit will expire on December 31st. The destiny of gold production remains unclear and will be one of the key issues Kyrgyzstan has to solve in 2016. Let me remind you that production contradicts the country's water code. To create legal conditions for the company's future activities, it is crucial to make amendments to the water code, allowing subsoil users to work in glacier area. The decision hasn't been made yet, just like restructuring of the project. Kyrgyzstan will have to consider the issue in the near future and decide on the destiny of the enterprise, which is of vital importance for the economy and investment attractiveness of the country. One of the conditions the situation can be solved in a positive way is that the production should not be stopped at Kumtor. Experts believe that if the gold deposit is closed, it will be lost for the country, as it will be unreal and not feasible to resume production. Public sector salaries and social benefits will be raised in Kazakhstan from January 1st. Money saved from budget spending will be used for this purpose. Healthcare workers' salaries will rise by an average of 28%, education 29%, and social security 40%. Despite economic hardships, the state will continue its social support program. The next year, invalidity and survivor benefits, as well as scholarships, will be raised by 25%. Many car makers plan to increase prices from January 1st, 2016. Avtovaz has announced an increase by a minimum of 3% already. Given the average car price of 400,000 rubles, the increase will be by 12 to 15,000. However, the price for Lada Vesta, the new model announced this year, will remain the same. Mazda, Nissan and Peugeot prices will go up. Automobile industry experts expect prices for other popular brands to climb up too. Hyundai cars will become 5% more expensive, Skoda 3%, Volvo up to 5%, and Rolls-Royce by 10%. Armenia will adopt common technical regulations of the Eurasian Economic Union on January 2nd. The common changes in technical standards were presented to the Armenian business community in October 2015 in Yerevan. On January 2nd, EU technical regulations will become applicable to products circulating in Armenia. However, business people will be able to produce goods in compliance with the national legislation for another 2 years. Let me remind you that Armenia joined the Eurasian Economic Union in January 2015. The construction of the country's first nuclear power plant will begin in Egypt on Monday, January 4th. Russia's Rosatom will take part in the project. In November, the country signed an agreement on cooperation in the construction and operation of the first Egyptian nuclear power plant. The station will be based on Russian technologies and have 4 power units, 1,200 megawatt each. Engineering and geological operations have already started on site. The Russian side will provide a loan to Egypt in the amount of 86% of the total operational cost. Egypt will find the remaining sum on its own. The country will repay the loan after 2029. The commission is 3% per year. At Daba, the city where the plant will be built is located near the Mediterranean coast, 150 kilometers away from legendary Alexandria. Egypt announced its intentions to develop nuclear energy 10 years ago, when it was stated after a long research that Edaba is an ideal location for a nuclear project. On January 4th, ID checks will be introduced in all buses, trains and passenger vessels heading to Sweden. The Justice Committee stated this law will be a positive improvement, as a record number of asylum seekers, that is around 150,000, came to Sweden this year. However, there are people who oppose the law in the country. They believe the law is challenging refugees' right to an asylum and will lead to serious problems in the Öresund region, where people used to freely move between Sweden and Denmark. In turn, Danish authorities plan to seize valuables from refugees crossing the border to help fund their stay in asylum centers, said Integration Minister Inga Støjberg. The proposal is being considered by Parliament. Representatives of the National Conservative Danish People's Party believe refugees should be treated as strictly as possible. The police must get the right to check personal belongings in order to confiscate money and valuables, including wedding rings. The Danish government is worried about Sweden's statement on toughening border crossing rules for refugees. Similar measures have been taken by the Norwegian and Finnish governments. Danes are afraid their country will become the final destination for all the displaced persons in the region. Due to the terrorist attacks in Paris on November 14th, France, Germany, Austria and Sweden took a decision to go back to having frontier guards and checkpoints at their borders. In addition, Sweden is one of the EU countries which is suffering from a big influx of Syrian and Iraqi refugees. New parliament will begin working in Venezuela on January 5th. Parliamentary election took place on December 6. The opposition won 109 seats out of 164, resulting in the first victory over the past 16 years. The two-thirds of the vote will allow the opposition to recall Supreme Council members and send laws for additional consideration by passing a presidential veto. Parliament cannot impeach President Maduro, but has the right to initiate a referendum on a head of state's credibility after the first half of his presidential term is over, that is, in April 2016. The opposition said their first law would be an amnesty for political prisoners. Maduro promised to put a veto on the law. Some experts believe that despite being a majority, the opposition will not be able to quickly change the situation in the country. According to them, as a result of their victory, confrontation merely moved from the streets to another sphere and turned into a conflict between the legislative and executive authorities. The CES 2016 exhibition of home appliance, robotics and mobile technology will start in Los Angeles on January 6th. This is a principal technology exhibition in the US and one of the leading events in the world. Big brands schedule their premieres for this day, which makes the event especially popular. There will be 20 categories at the exhibition, from smartphones and video systems to quadcopters and digital medicine. International startups will be presented in a special zone. Key technology schools and universities will also show their key developments. The event will be held in several zones. The Tech East will host the audio equipment segment, car electronics, games, photo and video, wireless gadgets, and processing of digital images. The Tech West will include important developments in the field of sports and health, the Internet of Things, smart homes, and other technology that may dramatically change our lives. Unmanned systems are a trend of CES 2016. Visitors will see interesting products and services in the robotics, 3D printing and wearable technology zones. The most promising mobile applications will receive special awards. More than 140 official state and government delegations from around the world will be monitoring what's new in the technology industry at the event. manufacturers of consumer electronics, retailers, consultants, dealers, IT developers and marketing specialists, analysts, importers and exporters, as well as representatives of the financial and insurance sectors will attend the event. This has been our perspective on the coming week. You've watched events around the corner. Happy New Year! And see you next time on Kazakh TV.